Whew, if you haven't heard about this one yet, you definitely need to, because a member of parliament paid nearly $100,000 of public funds to hire a friend of a friend's food marketing company to send out flyers on behalf of the member of parliament. Why would a culinary company be hired to work on media for a member of parliament? Why would constituent funds be used to pay for this? And how does this all play into other accusations recently levied against the government of overpaying and outsourcing government contracts? These are all great questions and ones that we're going to get to the bottom of today. So let's get right into it, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. So this all started just yesterday when Global News put out this piece saying Hussein, who is the Liberal Minister for Housing, spent $93,000 of constituency funds on PR help from a foodie firm called Much More Media. The piece outlined the odd choice of hiring a food marketing agency with only one employee to handle PR and marketing for a member of parliament. Now here's a quick clip from the Global video that should give you a little bit more context.
Well, Donna, Ahmed Hussein is under fire yet again for contracts he's handed out, this time paying for communications help from a firm that specializes in the food industry. It's usually chefs and foodie bloggers that Toronto-based Much More Media work with. But Ahmed Hussein didn't take the cookie-cutter approach when he hired the company to work in his constituency. According to public documents, the minister's Toronto office gave 14 different contracts between January 2021 and September 2022 to have Much More Media do PR work. The bill, over $93,000, which represents 14% of Hussein's entire constituency office budget for that period. So who is Much More Media? Hiba Tarek is listed as the company's only director and works out of this condo in Pickering. She told Global News her work for Hussein included planning and drafting flyers that are mailed to constituents, as well as videos and content creation strategies.
So it starts off a little bit odd. Why would this member of parliament hire a food marketing agency? But things get even weirder when we take a closer look at the marketing agency's online presence. Here's their Instagram. They only have 6 posts, 860 followers, 57 following. These are the 6 posts, just the logo essentially of Much More Media. And when you take a look at this, it doesn't really look all that professional in terms of a marketing agency. I mean, for a media marketing agency, you'd think that they'd be able to center their logo in their profile picture. Their LinkedIn account is just as sparse with 4 followers and a small about section saying Much More Media is a marketing agency specializing in food clients, ranging from chefs, food bloggers, restaurant, food and kitchen productions, and nowhere there does it say members of parliament. And when we go to their Twitter account that is linked to on their website, well, this used to exist. It had 1 follower just yesterday, but as of today, this account is deleted, no trace on Twitter. And when you go to their website, you just get a coming soon page. So there's no clients displayed, like here are all the big clients in the food industry that we've worked with. There's no displays of any kind of credibility. So why would Ahmed Hussein choose this company to manage some of his PR? However, I got a little bit curious and wondered if that web page had always been that way, that it was always just coming soon on the front of the page. And no, it hasn't been. This is a Wayback Machine. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it lets you go see what web pages were in the past, if they've been sort of updated by the person who has that website to show something different. And this is actually what the web page looked like before yesterday. It had a home section, an about us section, services, contact us, blog, and in the about us section you get a little bit more of a description here. Much More Media is well known in the food industry as a leader in marketing, food photography, food overhead videos, linking clients to media, key influencers, and customers around the world. Just a bunch of marketing buzzwords. So like I said, no history of clients served, no display of expertise in the PR area for a member of parliament, so why would Hussein choose this company to manage his PR? Well, this Global clip is going to give us a little bit more context, and then we'll dive deeper.
Prior to getting the 14 contracts, Tarek said she had no personal connection with Hussein, but she does have ties to one of Hussein's former senior staffers. Abdikir Ahmed worked as Hussein's former director of policy in 2020 and is listed alongside Tarek as a co-director of a corporation called Empire of Goodness. Ahmed describes it as a non-profit organization where he serves as a volunteer director. Tarek didn't disclose her relationship with Ahmed until we questioned her about it, but she says it's independent of her work with Hussein.
So to summarize what was just said there, I've made this graphic that's going to make it a lot easier to understand. Take a look at this. We have Ahmed Hassan, who is the Minister of Housing and former Minister of Immigration under Justin Trudeau's government, and we can see that he paid $93,000 in government contracts to Much More Media. Much More Media has a CEO, a founder of this company, and that is Hiba Tariq, who is the founder of Much More Media. No direct links between Ahmed Hassan and Hiba Tariq so far that we can see, but we can see that there is a connection between Hiba Tariq and Ahmed Hassan's former director of policy, Abdikir Ahmed. Ahmed and Tariq are listed as co-directors of an organization called Empire of Goodness. But what exactly is this organization? Even on their website, it's pretty vague as to what exactly this organization is. Empire of Goodness, good people aren't hard to find, especially here. The idea here is that they're sort of promoting an application. If we scroll down here, get the app. It's like a dating app for individuals with a helping fetish. It says here, I think the idea of this application is to connect organizations, charities, with people who want to volunteer at those charities. The whole point of the website is to try to get you to download this application, and when you sort of go and try to do that, it'll just ask for your email. I inputted it here, it said success, but I didn't get any sort of email with a link to download the application, and you can't find any Empire of Goodness application on the App Store, so I don't even know if this application exists. It's just a landing page trying to get emails. So with Hassan's former director of policy and Hiba Tariq both working on this Empire of Goodness organization, and I'm still not entirely clear what that is, maybe that is the personal link that led to Ahmed Hassan hiring for $93,000 Much More Media, whose CEO is Hiba Tariq, to do that sort of flyer send out. Here's a little cutaway from the video. This is hours after I just filmed what you just saw, because as I was filming this video, it turns out there's another character in this story that we didn't know about that makes everything make a lot more sense. It turns out that the CEO of Much More Media is actually the sister of Hassan's current policy leader within his sort of office. So here's the addition of the new character to the chart that I made previously. This is Tia Tariq, who is Hassan's current director of policy, also is the sister of Hiba Tariq, who is the CEO of Much More Media. So it could have actually been Tia Tariq, Hiba's sister, that hired her, or essentially hired Much More Media to do this contract work for $93,000 of public government money. And it's possible that Hassan didn't even know that this connection was there, but he certainly did hire Tia Tariq as the director of policy. And altogether, this is awful, awful, awful timing for the current Liberal government, because while all this is going on, they're also dealing with outrage over $66 million in contracts given to the consulting firm McKinsey at the very same time that they hired more internal government employees. They outsourced that same work to this consulting agency.
The Liberal government has given 30 times more money in contracts to the Liberal-linked firm McKinsey than did the prior Conservative government. Recent reporting has shown neither the company nor the government is willing to explain what the money was for. $66 million in core government contracts and tens of millions of dollars of other contracts from Crown corporations. One unnamed immigration public servant said that he or she did not even know what they got for the money. $25 million went to that department.
And now opposition leaders are calling out Hassan for awarding this contract to his friend, or at the very least, friend of a friend. Here's what NDP leader Jagmeet Singh had to say about it.
These types of connections are absolutely problematic. The other example you heard from Minister Ng as well, hiring someone close to her as a friend. These are things that are just obviously problematic. There's a smell test that if something smells bad, you probably shouldn't do it. Sending money to close friends without a clear process in place obviously doesn't pass the smell test, is something that's problematic, should not be happening, and the elected officials should know better.
So now, like I said, I'm having to film the end of this video again after the fact, now that it's come out that it's actually the sister of Hassan's current policy, head of policy, that is the one who runs this Much More Media. And we actually got some statements in a new Globe article as to like everyone's response to what's going on, both from the two sisters as well as Hassan himself. Brittany Hendrich, in an interview with Global News on 30 Night, now this is Hassan's a communications specialist, someone who talks on his behalf, says Tia Tariq, the head of policy, has not been involved at all in any of the ways that Munchmore Media Assets or assists Minister Hassan as a member of parliament to his constituents. They go on to say, we take these obligations very seriously when it comes to this. Everything, it was disclosed and rules were followed in this case. Everything's fine. And they say because the minister's office where Tia Tariq works, so that's the head of policy, and the office where the constituency office is held, where they would actually be hiring the person to send out flyers to his individual riding, they're saying those are two totally separate things, so there can't be any connection here. And again, Munchmore Media, the one headed by the sister of the policy head for Hassan, received $93,000 in contracts for communications work, and those contracts started at the very same time that Tia Tariq, the head of policy, started as senior advisor to Hassan. So the story continues, and conflicts of interest like this seem to be piling up more and more for the current government. First, all the McKinsey scrutiny, and now several different examples of ministers giving funds to people that are tied to them or their people in their office directly. So obviously, this is a total crap show for the Liberal government. I'm curious what you think about it. Do you think that this is kind of just normal? People give out contracts to individuals, and sometimes there are links between the people that you know, so they get contracts, and this is totally above board? Or do you think that this is something that shouldn't be acceptable in Canada, like Jagmeet Singh sort of indicated there in the NDP interview? Either way, let me know down in the comment section below. I read every single one and try to get back to a bunch of them. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And with all that said, I hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.